So after a game like that, is it easy to flush right now?
Have no choice. I mean, when we give the real answer, though, it wasn't hard to flush. Defense, like I said, after the game, defense did a hell of a job. Felt like they did more than enough for us to win the game. I mean, I don't know how many games this year we put up 6 points, but like I said, credit to the Seahawks defense. We just didn't execute enough. We didn't make enough plays. Got us beat.
How is it when there are a certain amount of good things that happen, but then, like you said, you point to plays that didn't, that prevented things from really going?
Yeah, you think you look back at the game, there's a couple plays that, we all wish we had back, and, starts with me, but I think everybody, we just weren't, as an offense, we just were not crisp enough, as a whole. And, in this game, one person's off, it can mess the whole thing up. So we all got to look in the mirror and be better.
It's been a number of years since I believe you faced Florida's defense, but you did pretty well in 2020. Do you feel like you have a handle on kind of his thought process at all, looking at film?
And no, I mean that was 4 years ago. They were a good. They were a good team then. He always obviously does a great job. His scheme has been very tough for a lot of people to deal with. But again, I think we have to go into this game. Obviously, another hostile environment. Maybe more louder than the one we were just in. We have to do a great job of handling that, and obviously handling a lot of exotic looks, and executing and staying on the field.
His defense has been described as unique. Are there singular things that they do that present themselves this week that you probably won't see the rest of the season? Are there some truly unique things that they do as a scheme?
I would agree with that. Yeah, I would say yes.
Whether it's been the loss to Washington or at Green Bay, you guys have been able to bounce back this year. What do you attribute that to? Is it experience, belief?
Bouncing back after a loss? It goes back to the makeup of this team. We understand, and JG does a great job of it. After the game, I know, he's probably feeling the same way we feel, right? But at the end of the day, the message is we got to be ready for next week. We can't let one turn into two turn into three. We got to get right back on the horse and keep going. And the guys understand that. We've done a good job of bouncing back, and we get another opportunity to go out there this weekend and do that again.
You talked this season about having a good grasp of what teams are trying to do to you, and that's got a combination of 6 years in the league. Where can that play into facing a defense like you're about to face?
Again, I think every game goes back to just, executing the plan. You get in trouble, you try to do too much and try to play outside of that, which I think we did this past weekend. Not sticking to what, we were supposed to. And, I think individually, like I said, one person, two people just do their own thing on a certain play. It kind of can mess the whole thing up. So I think everybody's gonna be locked into the plan and execute at a high level. And if you do that, you let the chips fall where they may.
Cal, do you have any Thanksgiving plans after practice tomorrow?
I'll probably go home and watch football and eat. Yeah, nothing too crazy.
Looking back at the film from last week, obviously the Seahawks were really good in bringing pressure. What could you learn from your own performance about dealing with that pressure if it doesn't come up again?
A couple. I think there wasn't any pressures that we weren't prepared for. We didn't handle the environment well. We didn't handle those situations well. We've seen plenty of what we saw and didn't handle it well. We didn't execute, and a lot of that's on me. But at the end of the day, I think when we see them again, we'll be able to correct those mistakes.
What are the things you have to do under pressure to execute that are maybe different than if you're not under pressure?
Say that again.
What are the things that you have to do differently? If there is pressure to be able to execute at the level that you have, for much of the season.
One, you get it blocked up. Obviously that start there, and then I think we've been pretty good versus pressure throughout this season. Knowing where you're hot, knowing when you're hot, knowing who the ball's supposed to go to when you are hot, stuff like that. So there's a lot of things that go into it, but we've done a good job of it, but we didn't do that last game.
What's the fine line between Vikings number one in run defense? You guys know you are pretty good at running, and you've been pretty consistent all year. What's the fine line between understanding that that might be a strength of theirs and you don't want to just play into one of their strengths, but knowing that you got to do what you have to do?
Yeah, I think every game's different. And that's the beautiful thing about football. You know, you get to go out there and compete. Obviously, like you said, they're very good against the run. We've been known to be good running the ball. You know, we didn't do it last week. But again, we get another opportunity to go out there and, you know, right those wrongs. Yeah, game starts up front.
I know you want to win every game, every year, no matter what the situation, but what's it like to be at this point in the season playing meaningful games and being able to control your own destiny, so to speak?
It's good. But, I mean, none of it really matters. You know, the only one, my focus is this weekend. You know, obviously I had to flush a tough one that we felt like, you know, wish we would have gotten to separate, but none of it matters. We got to go out here in Minnesota, like I said, in a hostile environment and find a way to win this one.
What was it in the game as it went along that led to you targeting Trey so often and the success that he had, that you and he had?
He was open, got open. Yeah.
Played with some great playmakers in your career. Trey on the run he's on. Have you seen anything that compares to this?
From a tight end, I mean, obviously he's probably, you know, obviously respects Zach, you know, and everything he did. Obviously most of his career was in Philly, but nah, you know, other than Hop, you know, that year that we started undefeated, everybody was pretty even as far as yardage for, you know, most of that season until Max got hurt. But, you know, yeah, Hop was the only one that probably went over 1,000, but no, Trey's, you know, he's an up-and-coming beast. I mean, he is. Like, there's no denying that.
You mentioned Trey being open. Were you affected at all on that play to him right after you took that hit and were shaken up in terms of the throw to him?
No. I wasn't affected by, you know, my pain or anything like that. Didn't affect that. You know, trying to be safe down there in the red zone. You know, you never want to, you know, throw a pick down there. But, yeah, the play before was really one that bothered me. But, you know, there wasn't any pain or anything like that made me throw it over his head.
Kind of got lost in the loss, but the play by Mike on third down, the moon ball, or he catches it over his head. What's the degree of difficulty there?
A lot. Kind of, you know, not many people can make that play. You know, the ball skills, the skill set, and being able to kind of like, you know, an outfielder being able to, you know, track the ball over his shoulder. You know, Mike, yeah, that's just a testament to his ball skills and what he's capable of when the ball's thrown his way.
I know you haven't been sacked many times for the season, but when you got sacked 5 times Sunday in Seattle, does that change your mindset in a specific game when there's that many sacks?
No, but I mean, you know, I think you as a quarterback, you feel it. You know, having to fight that though and still stand in the pocket and deliver. You know, and that's I think that's an internal battle for every quarterback is feeling pressure and you know, sticking in there. You know, because it's easy for you to get out of there, feel antsy, get happy, and move on through your reads quick like that and stuff like that. So. I don't think it affected, you know, me sitting in there. I think I should have got out more maybe. No, I don't know.
A big picture question for you. How do you feel like you're running and playmaking with your legs as you evolved in your 6 years?
Oh, it's different. Every game is different, you know. Sometimes you're dealing with injuries. Sometimes, you know, you don't feel as fresh or, you know, there's a lot of things that go into being able to rush for 50, 100, 20, you know, it varies. But when the opportunity presents itself, I do enjoy being able to, you know, get out and run. But yeah, I didn't, you know, last week I didn't really get to as much as, you know, other games. So
When you go into a game like this, a defense like this, and they're number 2 in blitz rate, what becomes most important for you as a quarterback when you know they're going to be coming and they're going to try and speed you up?
Yeah, you know, obviously knowing what we're doing up front, knowing who we're going to, knowing when I'm hot, staying on schedule. You know, sometimes they're going to get you. You know, it is what it is. But being able to limit those, not making those plays disasters, you know, controlling those plays in a sense. But yeah, if we stay on schedule, I think we'll be fine.
You mentioned adjusting your protections pre-snap a few times in this press conference. Throughout the season, Drew has praised you on that. Did you feel like this past week it wasn't as good as it has been most of the year?
I mean, there's certain plays that I wish had back, and it goes into being able to communicate on the road in a loud environment, having to do that, in a timely manner. Obviously watching the play clock and stuff like that. So there's a lot of things that go in getting out of the huddle, and, with enough time to be able to make your checks and stuff like that. If you don't do that, advantage defense because you can't flip or you can't get into protection that you would like to get into. So all the things that go into it, but I don't think we handled it as well as we should have or could have.
Thanks, guys.